Hey there, champions. Welcome back to another Read Aloud. We're back at it with Monday with a Mad Genius by Mary Pope Osborne, and we're on Chapter 3, 10 Types of Noses. Here we go. Let the boy go, Marco, Leonardo said again. But I caught him trying to steal my bird, said Marco. No, Marco, the girl said they were setting him free, said Leonardo, and I believe her. Then let them pay me, the bird seller said. We don't have any money, Annie said in a small voice. I will take care of it, said Leonardo. He put down the basket he was carrying. It was filled with flowers, cheese, and a loaf of bread. He pulled out a gold coin. The bird seller let go of Jack and took the coin. Marco, when I lay in my cradle as a child, a bird flew down and struck me with its tail, said Leonardo. Ever since then, I have wished. I know, interrupted Marco. To be a bird yourself. You have told me this many times, Leonardo. The bird seller turned away to help a customer. Leonardo turned to Jack and Annie. Yes, he said, to be a bird myself, which is why I often buy birds from Marco and set them free. So you see, my friends, you and I are kindred spirits. Yes, we are, said Annie, grinning. Thanks for helping us, said Jack. He gave Leonardo a big smile. He wanted the great genius to like them so they could spend the whole day with him. I'm Jack, and this is my sister Annie. Actually, it was Annie who freed... But Leonardo didn't give Jack a chance to finish. He kept talking. In truth, I love all creatures, every bird and animal known to man, and even the ones not known, he laughed heartily. Me too, said Annie. Me too, said Jack. Leonardo picked up some bird feathers from the ground. Ah, beautiful, he said, holding them up to the sun. I will sketch these later. He tucked the feathers into his basket with the bread and cheese and flowers. Well, I must be on my way now, friends, he said. Good day. Leonardo turned and began walking briskly away from the bird stand. Oh no, thought Jack. Before he could think of anything to say, Annie shouted, Mr. Da Vinci? Leonardo? Leonardo looked back at her. Yes? Do you need any help today? Annie asked. Jack and I would really like to help you all day, somehow. Jack was embarrassed. He was sure Leonardo would say no. But to his surprise, the great genius was looking at them closely and tapping his chin. Well, actually, I am facing a great task this morning, he said with a smile. He nodded. Yes, perhaps you could be my apprentices just for today. Great, said Annie. What's an apprentice? Asked Jack. Apprentices help a master artist or skilled worker, said Leonardo. They work hard and study hard in hopes they'll become masters themselves someday. Cool, said Jack. Come along then, said Leonardo. He started walking again. Jack and Annie hurried alongside him. They left the crowded market and started up a cobblestone street. Do you children live in Florence? Asked Leonardo. No, we're from, far away, said Jack. We're here on a mission, said Annie. We're looking for the secret of happiness. Leonardo smiled. Ah, yes, I discovered that secret some time ago, he said. You did? Asked Jack. Yes, it's something I sought and now I have it, said Leonardo. It's really quite simple. What is it? Said Jack. The secret of happiness is fame, said Leonardo. Really? Fame? Said Annie. Yes, said Leonardo. When I look into the eyes of complete strangers and see their awe and admiration, that makes me very happy. As Leonardo strode a few feet ahead of them, Annie looked at Jack. Fame? She said. I guess that's our answer. I don't know, said Jack in a soft voice. Remember what the rhyme said? Though the question is quite simple, simple answers might be wrong. Oh yeah, said Annie. And the rhyme says that to learn the answer, we have to stay with him all day. Yup, said Jack. He didn't mind that part. Spending the day with one of the most amazing geniuses who ever lived seemed like a great idea. Jack and Annie followed Leonardo into a square with a huge cathedral. On the top of the building was an enormous 8-sided dome that they'd seen from the treehouse. How did anyone ever build that? Jack wondered. As hundreds of people moved about the square, Leonardo stopped. He stared into the crowd. Oh, he said. What? What? Asked Annie. I see an angel, said Leonardo. An angel? said Jack. He looked at the crowd. He didn't see any angels. Over there, Leonardo pointed to a short, dark-haired girl standing by herself. The girl didn't look at all like an angel to Jack. She looked like an ordinary kid. Leonardo put down his basket and untied a small book from his belt and pulled out a piece of chalk. He started to draw. I've been seeking an angel for one of my paintings, he murmured as he sketched the girl. I think I may have found her. In a moment, Leonardo was done. There, he showed his sketch to Jack and Annie. With just a few quick lines, he had created an angel. The drawing looked just like the real girl, yet somehow she really did look like an angel now. That's the nicest angel I've ever seen, said Annie. I don't know, said Leonardo. I fear the nose is not quite right. I'm afraid I must keep looking. He tore the page out of his sketchbook. Perhaps you and Jack would like to have this. Oh, yes, said Annie. Thank you. I'll carry it, said Jack. He took the drawing from Leonardo and carefully slid it into his bag between the pages of the research book. Leonardo put away his chalk and sketchbook and picked up his basket. Come along, he said. Jack and Annie half walked and half ran, trying to keep up with Leonardo's long strides. When I travel through the streets, I'm always gathering information, Leonardo said. I observe like a scientist. For instance, after years of observation, I now know there are 10 different types of noses. Really? Said Annie. She felt her nose. Yes, said Leonardo. Straight, round, pointed, flat, narrow. Of course, that is from the side. If you look people straight in the face, you will find 11 types of noses. No kidding, said Jack. Jack tried to get a good look at the noses they passed. He saw flat ones, round ones, straight ones, but many were hard to describe. My observations have also led me to conclude that there are many more types of mouths than noses, said Leonardo. But the location of every mouth is almost always the same. It's halfway between the base of the nose and the chin. Really? Said Annie. She held up 2 fingers, trying to measure the distance between her nose, mouth, and chin. I think you're right, Leonardo. I study people's expressions and gestures, said Leonardo. I study their hands, their eyes, their hair. But to be a truly great artist, you must learn to combine your observations with your imagination. Suddenly he stopped. Look up! Look up! Jack and Annie stopped and looked up. See the clouds? Said Leonardo. A few billowy clouds dotted the sky. What do they look like to you? Asked Leonardo. What sorts of things? Big white blobs, thought Jack. The biggest one looks sort of like a castle, said Annie. Good, good, said Leonardo. And that little one looks like a dog's head, said Annie, like a Scotty puppy. A Scotty puppy? Thought Jack. He squinted, trying to see a puppy. Excellent, said Leonardo. And you, Jack? What about that one? He pointed at a long cloud. What do you see? Jack studied it. Well, I guess it sort of looks like a boat, he said. Here's a picture. So we're looking at all the clouds. Wonderful, said Leonardo. I get ideas for my paintings from everything. I look at a watermark on a wall and see an old woman's face. I look at a food stain on my tablecloth and see a horse. I study rain puddles and rocks and see oceans and mountains. Oh, I do that kind of thing too, said Annie. I imagine that the very first drawing might have been a simple line drawn around the shadow of a man on the wall of a cave, said Leonardo. Wow, breathed Annie. Pretty cool, thought Jack. Excuse me. He liked Leonardo's way of thinking. Listen now to the cathedral bells, said Leonardo. Jack listened. The bells played notes that went up and down. Bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. I hear the bells' voices as if they were singing to me, said Leonardo. Can you hear what they're saying? Well, no, thought Jack. He just heard bongs and bings. They're saying, you have much to do this Monday, Leonardo da Vinci. Get to work, Leonardo laughed. So let us be on our way, my friends. And the great genius took off, walking quickly through the streets of Florence. And that is how the chapter ends. Chapter 4 is called Battle Scene. I wonder what that's going to be about. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a wonderful night. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. Good night.